Hello and welcome to another episode of eBay Scavengers. This is episode 22 and I am Ryan. This is Jay.
This is Jay.
Jay is here with me. We are currently traveling.
Yep, and Mikey and Wendy are actually traveling too.
Yes, so we are all traveling and trying to make sure that we get the podcast up on ebayscavengers.com. We hope that you leave us some comments and some emails.
Right now we're going to talk about how our week has been going.
Yes.
And as Ryan said, we've been traveling. And so I don't know about other people, other eBayers when they travel. Our business doesn't stop. Number one, we keep our store on. It's just on vacation mode where there's a little banner up above that just tells a buyer they can still buy from us, but the shipping won't be done till after we get back.
Right. So the only issue with that is now we used to not put vacation settings on because we believed that our search standing as top-rated sellers would go down. That was our theory. So we would just send people a note through eBay messages and through email and say, we're away till this date. We'll be shipping after that. Please let us know, if you have an issue. Thanks for your business. And so why did we decide to put the vacation settings on? I
think because Mikey is the one that taught us that was better, that he would put the vacation settings on when they were gone, and he said it would not bring them down in search standings, and they were still selling a lot, and that's proven true. I mean, We've been gone for a week, and we've sold over 50 things.
55 things.
I think we've done pretty average of what we normally do.
Right. So the only issue is because I put the vacation settings on, I wasn't sending people notes that we were away, and two people open cases or whatever. It's the new eBay thing where you can quote unquote open a case, but you're just talking back and forth through official channels, saying, hey, I didn't receive my item yet. And I just had to say, we're on vacation mode. We're gone till this date. And then I had a couple other people who didn't open cases, but they did say, when are you going to send this?
And then they just didn't notice that banner because eBay doesn't make it very obvious. But then once we told them we were gone, they were cool with that.
Yeah, so that's good.
I find that 9 out of 10 people don't care, especially if it's a one-of-a-kind kind of item, or if they feel like they've gotten a deal, they're willing to wait a week, even a week and a half.
I would say, 9. So it was 4 people out of 55 items who, and they were cool about it too. They weren't like, give me my money back.
And the only downfall to doing this while we're away is that, top-rated seller status is based on a shipping the next day after they pay.
Right.
So all these people are paying, and we are a shipping, and our percentage of a shipping next day is going down, down, down. So we may lose our top-rated seller status for a month if we don't, keep up the 90%.
So if you go away, so they evaluate you every month based on 3 months.
Right.
So if you go away once in 3 months, you're fine. We happen to be traveling almost every month for the last few months, so most likely we're going to lose our top-rated status.
And, and that's not great. That's not ideal, but we would rather be making money while we're traveling than turn off our store, lose that income, and keep our top-rated seller status. I know we do get that 20% discount, so we probably save about $200 or $300 a month. But we're gone for 10 days, and we'll probably make a couple $1,000.
Yeah, and you get a discount on USPS shipping labels, which really hurts me when I'm shipping. I'm like, ouch. But honestly, when you're gone for a week to 10 days. You and this is our living basically. You still have to make that money. So I don't want to turn my store. We're going away for a month in a few months in October, and I don't want to turn our store off, but I don't know if that's even possible.
I find that I find that we can keep our store on vacation mode for about 2 weeks. I think that's...
We did 3 weeks
We
last
did 3
year.
weeks once, and very few... And I think only 2 people complained out of like 120 people.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe when we're away that 1 month, if we're real vigilant about telling people.
Right. I find that it's all about setting expectations.
Yeah.
If a buyer knows your way... and it's that deal is up front,
right,
and they feel, again, they're getting a good deal or they're buying something they can't find anyplace else, they're willing to wait. So anyway, that's kind of our thing right now. And then, not only do we sell while we're on vacation, or this is kind of a work vacation, we also buy stuff too. And that's always fun for us. I think we've talked about it before. Buying stuff when we're in a new state or a city gives us a reason to go to parts of town that we normally wouldn't go to. So we're in Portland, Oregon right now, and we've been shopping at all the little thrift stores and like that.
And cities tend to be more expensive, and they're either just thrift stores or vintage stores or whatever. But we rented a car and went outside the city and found some cool stuff, like down in Salem, Oregon.
Right.
But it's tough because as the packer of the family, I do have to pack and ship stuff home mostly.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about actually still finding stuff.
Okay.
So, when we go to an urban area, because we live in a rural area, prices are so much different here. Goodwills, forget about it. But it is interesting just to go and see different prices. I think that helps us or me when we're pricing things. You get to see people are paying quite a bit for a vintage and it's one of a kind kind of items.
In an urban area, absolutely.
Right. I mean, even in Goodwill, it's becoming a regular store, like a TJ Maxx or something.
Right. We went to, it was called Value Village, which is also known as Savers in different parts of the country. And, man, their prices were kind of outrageous.
Right.
I wanted to buy a sweater just for myself, $20.
Right. I saw a great pair of, shoes, $50.
$50. And you're if it was just for me and I'm not shopping for, eBay, I'd be like, hey, that's not a bad price. But Jesus, I can't pay that and resell them.
Yeah, but I guess maybe they've gotten hip to the fact that a bunch of its resellers come, or they at one point were shopping there probably a lot more. Now I don't know how someone could make a living just shopping at those places. But we're actually going to talk about that next podcast.
We'll talk a little bit more about that.
We did this once before. Goodwill has these Goodwill outlets.
Yes.
And if you just Google it, there's a list of them, and they're in almost every state or a region. But basically, it's the last part of the Goodwill chain. They take all the stuff from the Goodwills that haven't sold. It goes to this outlet, and basically they dump everything in these bins, and you buy stuff by the pound. So mainly you get junkers and there's all these people, and they're willing, and they're hardcore. They wear
the gloves.
It's gloves and a bell rings, and a new big cart comes out, and everyone kind of swarms over it, and it's just everything. Just junk and clothes and sleeping bags and shoes.
Now, we went to one of these. It's in Denver. I think it's in Aurora, Colorado. It's right outside Denver. And we sought it out the last time we were out there. And then this time, it was in Salem, Oregon, and we stumbled upon it by accident. Right. We just thought it was a normal Goodwill. And then I remember I walked in, and I was like, oh, we're in one of those, which is what I always look for, anyway. But the cool thing is honestly, this stuff that I find is not dirty. I mean, you look at this place and you're like, ew, this place is dirty.
There's a lot of broken, trash, torn stuff, but
amazingly enough, I found some stuff Jay laughs at me because I found this lamp that he just thinks is ridiculous, but I think it's very cool.
It's like a banker's lamp.
It's a bank, but I sold one to a guy in Denmark for $70.
Yeah, a down coat and
a duvet cover, a gorgeous duvet cover,
king size duvet cover. It's
we're looking at our pile here, and a little step stool that's handmade out of Douglas fir. It's whoa, what?
So that's kind of what our vacations are about. We're doing this other job that we do, and then we we're kind of we're on vacation as well.
Yeah.
But then we're always keeping an eye out and shopping. And then, like Ryan said, the problem with this is then trying to get it all home. I mean, I bring a big army bag to shove stuff in, and then we pay the extra cost to take that on the plane.
Right.
But now we're also mailing stuff home in boxes. And,
and so I don't mind mailing stuff, but the first 2 boxes we sent, now I will say we bought lamps for ourselves at a retail shop. They were on sale, a deep discount. Thank goodness. I wouldn't have been able to pay for them. But so we did send stuff home that was heavy and delicate for ourselves, but I shoved a bunch of stuff in there. But it was $80 to send the first 2 boxes. So that's a little pricey.
So it's probably not the most efficient, but I just think also it goes back to it's fun for us. I know we'll still make its money off of all this stuff. And, it's what we like to do. It's, we're always kind of in that eBay mode,
Yeah, and I think, it's part of exploring a city. And, like right now we're staying in an Airbnb apartment in a part of the city where during our, regular job we were staying at hotels in downtown where there's it's like there's nothing there. So it's nice to get out into a different part of the city where people actually live. It's not just high rises.
Right. But I think that's a great thing about this eBay scavenger its lifestyle we talk about is that we are able to travel. We make money
while we're traveling
every single day.
Yeah.
With the eBay phone app. Right. We're checking prices. We're answering questions. We're accepting or counter-offering people who are writing to us. Yep. And, when we're in a store, we're able to check and see if something is worth what we think it's worth. And, it's really kind of an amazing, dynamic lifestyle, it's really kooky.
Another thing about it, too, that I find is, there's certain things that I buy that when I buy them locally, I basically shop the store out. I buy all their X thing. And then, because I go to that thrift store all the time, I always find it. So when we're traveling, I'm like, look for this, look for this, look for this other thing that we don't find at home, and basically shop the state of Oregon for this one item that's cheap or could be cheap enough, just certain, whatever kind of housewares that you're looking for, basic things that sell for money that you just collect.
Yeah, I think that's it. Every state or a region has that thing that they have a lot of.
Right.
That's a challenge of being a scavenger is finding that thing. And then trying to get it home,
Like in Oregon is where Pendleton Wool Mills is from. And so every time, we're at a store, I'm thinking, we're going to be able to find Pendleton easier here.
Well, we actually went to the Pendleton a wool factory place outlet
It was like the outlet
where they had these huge bins of all the extra pieces of wool fabric that they don't use, and you buy it by the pound. And we went and we bought
a lot.
I don't know, I filled up the army bag full of it, and it wasn't too cheap, but we had fun finding it, and we'll sell it online. We'll see how we do.
I think we'll do well. We have to pay for the bag to bring it onto the airplane. You got to factor in all that in. But at the same time, it was I've always wanted to go to a big Pendleton store and see all the gorgeous fabric.
But, we can start wrapping up here. But I think it's what we always talk about with It's Mikey is that we're on vacation, but we're making money as we go. So basically, this vacation is paid for and more just by enjoying ourselves, eating out, and then finding stuff that we're going to go home and sell, and we'll make back all the money we've spent,
Yeah, and the other thing that I love, too, is, especially when you go to, Europe or Australia, is in my listings, I will say, I bought this in London, like a particular hat, like a Scottish hat. This was purchased in the UK,
And really, that's what eBay has done for us, or selling, all this stuff online, is that we like to travel.
Right.
And scavenging and selling that stuff online allows us to travel.
Right. It's a big cycle.
And we can have a totally open schedule.
Right.
And it's great. It's not like when I had a job where I could only travel when I had a vacation time if they let me off for more than a week, which is amazing. And then when I was on vacation, I was just purely burning through my cash. Mm-hmm. And then I had to hurry home so I could get back to work so I could make more money. Now traveling is a way to make this money for us.
Yeah, especially not to keep going here, but especially if you can do a road trip. Like Mikey and Wendy right now are actually on a road trip with their car, which we are not. I mean, you can fill your car up, and that's the most efficient thing, because you're we went to Florida and we filled the car up.
And hopefully Mikey and Winnie will do a show next week where I think what he did is he actually turned off his main store and he opened another store, probably under another username, and they're selling stuff from the road. Right. They're finding stuff, they're taking pictures of, and they're listing it, and then they're going to ship it from wherever they are. That is really hardcore. I like to see how they do that.
Yeah, I would love to hear that experiment. That's so. We've thought about that too for people who are New England snowbirds, basically. That's basically my parents, where they live in New England, they go to Florida for half the time, and so you're all right, well, how do you do an eBay store? Because you can't bring your whole inventory down to Florida for 6 months. So do you turn one store off and one store on?
It's like have a Florida store and then have a New England store.
Which you could. I mean, you could do that.
Or I even thought about it, what if you were those people that had a big RV and you just had the back of the RV was full of stuff and you're just selling stuff from the road, Right. You're just making money and you're traveling around and adventuring, but you're also scavenging and selling it.
That would be a good case. That would be so here's me being a shipping nerd. That would be a good case for just doing all flat rate boxes, because you're where are we going to be? Where are you? I don't know.
Sure.
But I love that idea.
Okay.
So let's wrap this up and we'll head to our next podcast. Thanks for listening.